Hey guys, Nick here. Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and part 6 to What If the Walking Dead Was a Dream. Before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, check out the About Time homepage so you don't miss anything for the Omniverse's future. With all that said, let's begin. So we open up where we ended off last time. Michonne is greeted by everybody in our group. And this is a decent group because no one's really died except maybe the one offs, the no names. And she's in the pawn show with her blade and the two chained walkers. And her expression around them is but malice, silence, and just everything that Michonne was basically still a villain without being a villain. But Rick just walks right up to her and smiles. And Lori, yes, Rick told the whole story, but still, this makes her think that he's just gonna leave her. And she's prepared for that. But Michonne, she just stares at him blankly, not understanding the smile around her. And it's like, it throws her off. But Rick says, before you say anything, Michonne, before you question me on how I know who you are, just stop for a second. None of us here are here to hurt you, okay? I just need you to listen to me because I have something very important to tell you. And he would go on to explain how Michonne and him met, how they became close in the prison, and everything that made them special, and how much she started to care about Carl, how they got together, and everything, and the entire story. And he hopes that this will, obviously, this isn't going to get them together because that would be crazy. And, there's a small part of Rick that it's like, maybe. But he just wants Michonne on his side again because he doesn't want to take from the fact that Lori and Carl are alive, because the only reason that he got with Michonne is because Lori died, Jesse died, and Michonne, him and Michonne had gotten a lot closer, so it made sense. But he just wants Michonne on his side. But Michonne declines and says that whatever you thought of in your dream, whatever happened, I'm not interested. I'm going my own route. But she doesn't go away without saying, best of luck on your journeys there, Rick. But as for coming along with you and being like that, you're going to have to count me out. There's a lot more in it for me out there than there is with people I hardly know. Especially one who claims that he fell in love with me when I don't even know who you are. Sorry. And she just walks off with her walkers. So it's basically like Gamora and Star-Lord in Guardians 3, essentially. Or Endgame into Guardians 3. So you could think of it like that. And Shane just looks at Rick and says, I bet that wasn't part of your dream, was it? You got with her, didn't you? And Andrea says, well, now it's all starting to come together and really show what's changing, isn't it? And Dale says, that's enough, to Andrea and Shane and all of them. And he tells all of them, yes, Rick didn't have the full moment with this girl, Michonne, like he wanted, but who's to say that it was going to happen anyway? Huh? If it's all true, and he has proven it by us going to all of these places, that it's true. And he has saved us from our fates that we had apparently in his dream. We can't take that away from Rick. He's helping us. He's saving us. And he just looks and stares at all of them and says, if you don't believe in him, that's your problem. But why are you still with him if you don't believe? Is it any crazier than the dead coming back to life? Huh? Or us all being infected by a virus we still don't know probably that much about? But Rick seems to, and he's guiding us. Do we have another option? Or would you rather face your world out there on your own? Huh? And Morgan and several others back Dale up. And Rick says, that's absolutely right. Look, I never asked any of you to do anything you don't want to. If you don't believe me, if you don't want to come along, and if you want to face the world on your own, if you don't believe still, your fates, they could still happen the way I envision them, just in a much different way. And yes, Michonne is not with us, but who's to say we won't meet her again in the future? It's not the issue right now. The issue is just getting through these places that we have on the list, meeting the people that we have to, and getting everything done. Because there's still a far bigger threat that none of you have any idea about. That's why I'm doing this. Because I want you all alive. And I can't guarantee that if we don't get what I saw in my dream done and over with. We will deal with everything that comes after. This is just an unfortunate side bump, even if it is just for me. And Rick begins to walk off to think, but Lori says, stop, Rick. You've done this by yourself long enough. You can talk to us more. And she starts to get a little defensive about the Michonne thing, but Carl even tells Lori to stop because Rick has meant well. Why would his dad, and to Lori, why would her husband keep him on the road like this if he didn't expect them to trust him? It's like Carl trusts his father, and he knows that Rick's doing the right thing. They're all alive. He's been keeping them alive, going to places that they didn't know about, getting food, keeping them away from dangerous places. Like, he's doing this for them. Lori, as well as everyone, should be grateful. And even Lori has to shut her mouth at that. Also, Lori cuts it off with Shane completely, especially hearing and knowing just everything about the dream and just knowing that her time with Shane is over. So you would think that this would divert Lori, Rick, and Shane, but it actually doesn't, because Rick knows about all of what happens. So he has no reason to kill Shane here, unless Shane fights him. But everything that Rick's been doing, the way he's been acting, Shane's literally impressed, because he was above his time. And Rick, this whole dream thing, it's ridiculous, but that makes him above his time. So it's like a mixed package. And plus, Shane has not had the development of, like, going crazy over Lori and killing Otis and all that stuff. So it's a mixed package, but Shane is still with Rick. And Rick knows that if they're going to get to Negan, they all have to be alive and work together. So they do not go to the prison because Rick knows what will happen there. That means they're not going to meet any of the prisoners. Their next major stop is a stop that is going to mean the most to them besides Terminus and Alexandria. Woodbury. And getting one of the biggest threats out of the way instantly. The governor. But can they do it as simple as that before the threat even happens? Or are they walking into thin water and thin ice with this one that won't allow them to come back? Especially since Michonne is not a part of the group here in this timeline. I mean, it's not the first time I've done that, and there's stories where it's going to happen like that, but I digress. You guys will find out how that unfolds as we continue the story next time.